decided to finally rip the Roadster out. I know I brought it up a few times, and here it is. This is Claptrap. It's full of Datsun parts from other cars. I had it in the shop for a really long time, and it became storage. I have a hardtop for it. So I originally had plans of doing this in bare metal, and it was all in bare metal. And it basically sat outside for about a year. It was undercover, but not well. And so I've always had plans to make it look like a Japanese fighter plane. Everyone does the teeth and the American style, and I wanted to do something different. So my plan was kamikaze, green. Well, it was originally I was going to do bare metal. I thought the bare metal looked cool. But that more fell under like a Navy airplane more than a kamikaze plane. So I wanted rusty, old, patinaed. So I started working on this. I've weathered the paint down. My phone makes it look like shit, but basically left the rust that was underneath of it. This thing's not pretty. It's rusty. It's terrible. It's beyond even trying to make look pretty. When I got it, it was basically on its way to a crusher. And you can see, this is what the paint looks like when it's on. Kinda. This phone sucks. God, I hate this thing. But I weather it all down and blend it into the car. So it actually looks, believe it or not, it actually looks like very old paint that's been on this thing for a long, long time. And so I'm just sending it. I'm gonna be in this thing paint-wise probably $100. Don't mind the peacocks. Yeah, so this only took me a can to do. So weather this thing down, make it old and green, and start adding all of my paint scheme to it. And it'll be pretty cool. Like I said, I want the rust to come through. That's why I'm not sanding this, prepping this. I said I saved it. And I felt it deserved a second chance. As you can see, it's all rusted. Frame's solid. Floors are kind of iffy in the front. Rears are good. So I'm just going to patch panel it since it's a full frame car. And like I said, it's been beat to piss. And when I got it, the doors and fenders had been cut in half. And it wasn't until later, till I actually met up with a different guy to get the title for it, that I realized, or I actually talked to him, and he told me that it was a parts car. He was sending away, and he was over it. And so the easy way of taking the chrome off was to cut everything in half. So I sourced out doors and fenders. These are off a later model car. I think it's 68, I believe, with those markers. But I wanted the big flare over the tiny one that was on a 67. This is a short windshield. And so new doors. Actually, I couldn't find every driver's door I bought was loaded with Bondo. So I had my buddy, who's a welder. I was like, I don't even care. The car is going to be crudely put together. Stitch this fucking thing back up. So he ran a fat bead and ground it down. This thing's going to be the epitome of Ratson for sure. And I said, look at right there. It's gone. Yeah, I've had this thing for 7 years. This is the second Datsun I bought. And I've went through many other Roadsters since this one, and it's still here. I have some sentimental value to it. I want to bring it back to something, at least run and drive. So stay tuned. More peacock screaming and shitty Datsun Roadster. Alright, I figured I'd show you guys this real quick. This, like I said, this is freshly sprayed paint. It looks older already because I sprayed over the rust. But what a lot of people do that super irritates me is when they try to do a patina, fauxtina job, they use sandpaper. They sit there and use a DA. They burn through fucking layers upon layers of paint. I will show you the secret to weathering down paint to make it look old without using a sander. Steel wool. This is your best friend. As you can see, shiny. Be erratic with it. Don't go the same way. You just sit there and just do. Fucking birds. You just sit there and go the same way. When the sun hits it, you're just going to see lines going the same way. But if you're erratic with it, spin, ups and downs. Be creative with how you do this. The better you do it, the better the effect, more realistic it looks. See, that's pretty realistic old weathered paint compared to using a sander and burning through paint and having all these lines, and where you can obviously tell that it was mechanically done. You forced it. Using steel wool, you don't force it. You can work it. You can do a little bit at a time. You can take it down if you want to. I mean, doing stuff like that. I mean, it adds character. It gives it more of a realistic effect. I've done this on a couple cars. Did it on a T-Bird. It was actually my first real car I did it on. I used to do it on RC cars. And I may actually acquire the car back my first car I did it on. And the first car show, there was like 400 cars, and took it there, won best paint. I mean, there was some crazy expensive paint jobs there, and no one thought it was fake. Everyone thought it was a real stock car I pulled out, and basically pulled out of a field, made it run and drive, and drove it to the car show. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to do all my designing and everything on here will be all hand painted with a brush. And I said I mean, you can't tell me it doesn't look like vintage paint that's been on this thing forever. So if you're looking to fake a rusty paint job or a weathered down paint job, steel wool, it's the key. And I've always been asked about it, and I've been kind of an asshole about it, never told anyone, because no one ever helped me. And now's the time for it, I suppose. So I'll do another video on it where I'll show you how to do fake rust on paint and weather it down. I have a very special technique that can be done very cheaply, and virtually anything can be turned into rust. Okay, so I know I'm kind of cheating with this because the car was already rusted and I'm trying to paint through the rust and have real rust come through. But you can see how the paint's knocked down. It's not overly sanded through. I did little spots here and there to add to the realism, the effect of this being the original color or a color put on it years ago. And then you can see kind of where I stopped. That line all the way up. And my phone is trash and it doesn't really show the true realism of what this looks like, but I think you can get an idea basing it off of that. I said I'll have more of a realistic look off this anyways because of having the rust underneath. And but using the steel wool, this will help if you have a mismatched panel or something happens to one of your doors or something and you have to replace it with a different color and you wanted to rock that original color. You can find a color that's really close to what you have and you can knock it down. and blend it in enough where it'll fly. And there's, I said, a couple different ways. I will make a video on, I mean, I could take a brand new toaster and make it look like it's 100 years old. And it's kind of something that's acquired. It takes a little time to figure out exactly what you're doing, how to do it, but it's easy. Once you get the hang of it, and kind of like as you do it, the better you get. And you can see shiny, same thing, dull, wore out. And like I said, I'll make a video soon of how to really do it, but if you're just trying to make something work for right now, this is the way to go. If you have a somewhat okay paint job, you want it to be weathered down, steel wool is the way to go. Okay, so a little update on it. Got all the green done, and I neglected to do this door on the same side, or on the same day, so I've been really focusing on trying to get this to rust more so it'll equal out. Just sprayed the red. Just sprayed the yellow. But it's coming together. It's starting to look like what I wanted it to look like. Still a lot more to do. Gotta paint the white around the circle. Numbers on the quarter. And I'm gonna do something on the front so it looks really empty. Either the hood or... I really don't know. Something will come to me and I'll do it. But pretty happy with it. I doubt there's another Japanese Zero Roadster. And then I'm going to weather this all down so it's not all nice and shiny. I said I just sprayed it. It's probably still tacky. Yep. So, pretty cool. Next little bit of this video will be the end of it.